as we have seen this map obviously a couple of times today already, and we've seen some very different strategies. We've also seen some very aggressive rounds, and it looks like our team Epsilon here, or Pyrogen, is actually going to take a very, very aggressive path, almost the exact same setup as TCM.
All right, so Absolute Legends the King getting eliminated extremely quickly there, and we did see some of Absolute Legends games against Thrice, I believe it was.
Yes.
On Monday morning, Monday evening for them, and they just breezed past Thrice. So obviously Epsilon did have an appearance in last week's qualifier as well. They got pretty far, so these teams should be fairly evenly matched. I don't know if it's going to be to the point of TCM and Gamers League, because those teams went to extra rounds in this map specifically, but I don't think we're going to be seeing another blowout like that.
Okay, well, Sparko tries to check up on the laser. Oh, and there is actually someone up there. Stern manages to hit him once. Sparko's in kind of a bad spot because spam rockets can hit on the top of him, and the laser can keep him pinned down the side. Yeah, if Sparko can't get out of there, it's going to have a rough time trying to finish the round. Already missing one armor with no defenders eliminated. Oh, the King actually ran a little further than he might have needed to try and prevent getting picked off. So that's another interesting little tactic. If the shot misses because he keeps running rather than doubling back, that's a good strat. And man, we've got 2 defensive rounds pretty quickly here. That's right, and about 3 horns were thrown up at the same time too.
I was trying to figure out that song. I was like, I don't think I know this one. That's what it sounded like.
And I think there was a humiliation as well that went off. So it was they meshed really well. It was nice synergy between them. And already one armor being taken off. And look at that, Pyrogen actually switching things up. They were very, very aggressive last time, but now deciding to sit back just a bit. All right, and I actually do like that idea for team horns. You got 2 players with music, or like one with a drum beat and one with a trumpet sound and one with like a word, the humiliation. That way, if all 3 are still standing, it's nice. Really nice. But there we go. Cephas taking out a defender, but he is down to only 1 armor. Yeah, I mean, he had a rough start to this. He lost the one right off the initial jump, and then a second one as he tried to come up a little bit further. But Quaco, yes, taken out as Cephas runs around the side and showing that he has a very strong laser. Just 1 defender remaining. It is a showdown. Yeah, that was a monster shot there from Cephas as he was traveling, and now with only 1 defender remaining, he's going to be really, really careful. Next shot does win, and those rockets travel extremely fast. At this point, it's essentially instant damage, and there we go. Red wins the turn. Okay, so 2-1 now, but things are still basically tied up, as it's going to be that all-important attack round, which starts to break things up between these teams. All right, I do remember Quaco from our first EU qualifier getting some really, really good shots. We'll see if he's on point or in perfect form once again here today. The round of 8 is very important, as it is just a best of 3, and all of our best teams are already here from the qualifier. So this is potentially the quickest way to be eliminated if you're not on top of your game. All the teams that are favorites to win the whole thing have to play through here. So if Epsilon wants to assert themselves, this is the time to do it. Stern does land a nice laser from the high ground there, from that laser pan up on top. And Quaco can't really come back with a shot of his own. He was standing flat-footed for a while. Looks like Stern has given up that point, though. There may be an opportunity here for Quaco to land something from the laser pad, but no, he gets propped up, and Stern lands all 3 of the defensive shots. Yeah, Stern with some great rockets there at the end, propping him up in front of him and then turning around and shooting him as he was falling behind him. Very quick moves there from Stern to eliminate that attacker. We still have not had a successful attacking round, so this is shaping up to be a lot like TCM versus Gamers League. Well, Stern now trying to just move very quickly up and split the defenders, and he has done so. He's now put himself in between the defenders and the goal. He almost just lost his last armor, though, and it's still going to be very difficult for him. Yep, unfortunately, the trail behind the rocket doesn't hurt as bad as the projectile itself, and Stern does get eliminated by Hybrid there at the end. So both teams still just defending like champions. We'll see if Absolute Legends can make something happen here defensively if they rush forward like we see sometimes out of TCM and Dignitas. Epsilon Hybrid does have a chance to try a little bit of a different attacking route. We have not seen this utilized really in the first 2 matches. I just randomly decided to take his vision the whole way. Every once in a while I want to watch a total attack path, and thankfully he chose something different too, so you have to watch a little different perspective there. He doesn't know where the defenders are posted up. Let's take a look at their vision. Oh, Cephas in an interesting spot. Don't normally see anyone post up there.
because it is kind of exposed. It's just a little corner, but Stern hiding behind the cover of the trees, it can be pretty difficult to hit those shots as an attacker. Oh, 2 armor hitting at the exact same time there. Didn't even hear separate chimes, but here we go, Hybrid with only 1 armor remaining, 3 defenders still standing. Tough road ahead for him.
Oh, and he gets rushed down by Stern from around the side, and Stern has been doing really, really well on defense. 5 shots to his credit, but we're back around to the primary attackers now, so we'll see if the King has a little bit more success than he did last time. He was stopped very early on, right about here in his attack round.
Yeah, if Epsilon runs forward again, it looks like they're going to just spam some rockets, but the King is going to wait it out. He's not going to just run head first into those spam rockets. He's going to, just wait at the spawn for an additional second so that doesn't happen. Now jumping, looking for some defenders. Hybrid up on the laser pad. Quako jumping down, had a potential shot there, picking him off, but at the moment, King cannot get any vision of defenders. There's one right below him, though.
Okay,
oh!
Yeah, and he was stuck there. That was an easy shot for the King to take, and he does connect. So good advantage for him. 3 armors, just 2 defenders, and another defender trying to take position amongst the trees.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty interesting decision how, Quako moved up, but he did get 2 defensive rockets. Man, the King, a little bit, embarrassing for him after getting such a good start to take 2 shots of armor. Now we've got that showdown situation, only 8 seconds left, and the next shot wins.
Whoa, and he narrowly avoids a rocket there.
Oh!
And he does manage to get the last shot, so there's our first attack round taken, and Absolute Legends now with a nice advantage in this map.
Yep, Absolute Legends the King. He was their first attacker. He is considered probably to be the strongest attacker if they put him there in the lineup. So now we've got Sparko coming forward for Epsilon. He or Hybrid will have to make something happen to try and take an attacking round before the round ends, before the match ends. This is, one of only 2 remaining opportunities, perhaps, for him to try and get in there.
So Sparko now checking up on the laser pad. And
nice.
There is actually someone on the laser pad, and as soon as I zoom away to check on that, of course, he connects with a 28-meter hit.
Yeah, I still don't know if I agree with where Cephas was playing there. It doesn't have any cover, and he has to run toward the attacker to be able to escape. So that second shot actually puts Sparko in an amazing position. There he goes. Great long-range shot. So Sparko with that first successful attack round for Epsilon, putting them back in this game.
So Cephas now, a little bit of shock, I imagine, to his system as he saw the King so confidently take an attack round and then sees it reciprocated by the Epsilon squad.
Yep, Sparko, great round there. That was actually just a very clean round. Wasn't really in any danger, and Cephas now has to get through this Epsilon gauntlet at the front.
One thing I want to note is that Epsilon has actually, they've alternated from a very aggressive stance to a defensive stance, aggressive stance to a defensive stance, and it's alternated perfectly each time. So this is now the 5th time that they've defended. This is their 3rd aggressive one. So it's weird. I thought it was going to be on a particular matchup, and Sparko actually landing 3 shots there. Very well done. I thought it was going to be based on a particular matchup against a certain attacker, but no, it has actually just perfectly alternated.
Interesting. And I know that when I play Elite, the defenders always do alternate into the method that just they rush me down and I can't move.
Yes.
So that definitely is a factor. If they think a certain attacker favors one side or the other, if they think maybe they've got a weaker laser, they might rush them down, and you can see some varied techniques. Quako not getting that shot. There was so much blue there, I thought for sure he was going to be able to pick that off. But now, he's got to be aware of Cephas out in the open again. Cephas, I just don't like that position. But Stern is going to try and make up for it. Quako has a chance to actually win the map here for Epsilon, as strange as that sounds after we got started here.
And Cephas paid for being out in the open,
Ouch.
but now Quako is paying as Cephas and the King come back with a defensive shot.
Yeah, that was a great shot from the King all the way back to the point, hitting square into that little cubby.
Nice.
Suddenly we have a showdown. The King with a couple of rockets left. Quako just lands the shot, though, and wins the map for Epsilon, squeaking past Absolute Legends with 2 successful attack rounds in a row. Not the result I would have expected, but great job.